I'm starting a new recording. We're going to do a Roxy guide, and we're doing it right now. Live. For the people. Alright, so the very first thing you got to know is your movement to pick up the thing probably doesn't matter all that much. Just pick up the camera and punch into the lava. I prefer to roll during the load screen. Notice I'm like already moving my camera like sideways and in. So what I'm trying to do as I'm doing this is I like roll into the camera. I want the camera looking towards... Where's my pointer at here? Let me get my pointer is here. I want to be looking in this area to increase the chances of getting lag as I'm going down to the lava. I don't know if it's like a factual thing, but I know that that area has more lag in it, so I look towards that way and I feel like it helps. Now all we're going to do is we're going to punch off. We're going to bounce on the lava once. As we're about to hit the lava the second time, I'm going to press R3 twice in quick succession because I'm going to try to zoom in and zoom out as fast as I possibly can. Bye-bye. I'm just going to do that. I want to time it within a few frames of hitting the lava the second time. I don't think it works the first time. I tried it before and I just have no success with it, so I feel like it has to be the second time. You won't get it every time, even if your timing is like perfect, because I'm 99% sure the game has to lag or some sort of third outside source thing has to happen in order for you to actually get the info, in order for the zoom to work. So we'll just give it a couple tries. And, you know, patent pending, sometimes this can take a bit. Hopefully we'll get lucky. We did. Okay. Boom. So now you're invincible. You have invuln 1, which means you can't grab ledges. You also can't use your gun. I don't have any guns, so that doesn't really matter. Can't pick up objects, you know, blah, 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 blah. We can talk about invuln 1 another time. The important thing is you can walk on lava. Don't bonk on anything. That's like, don't roll into anything and lose, you know. Jack will like bump his head and then take damage again and then you'll die in the lava and you'll feel sad. This is Roxy. She's pretty cool. So what we're going to do, we're going to walk into this middle section right here. Jack will get stuck right in the middle. There's not really like any leeway in this, I don't think. He just walks into it and he gets wedged into a particular position in the collisions between these two rocks. So what I generally do is I just come at it dead on, push forward until I'm stuck, and I aim myself... The pointer. I aim myself kind of right here, more or less. I kind of just aim Jack dead on. I'm going to start mashing as fast as I can and not let my speed up. If you let your speed up at any point during the mash, you're more than likely going to fail. That's the big thing. So I almost would think that mashing consistently is as important as mashing just quick. So like you don't want your mash speed to kind of like fluctuate. You want it to be very consistent. Yeah, if you go like too far to the left or something, Jack will just slide out. And if you go too far to the right, again, he just kind of like pops out and you don't get anything. Right? Another thing to note. Well, I'll get to that in a second. So I'm going to wedge Jack in here. I'm going to start mashing. As I'm mashing, I'm going to roll my stick slightly to the left, kind of like towards the 11 o'clock position. Sometimes I can just aim Jack at this thing and I'll get a really quick Roxy and I don't have to like line up here and kind of roll the stick. Sometimes I can just walk straight up, aim at that, mash, and I'll get it. But it kind of is hit or miss. I personally tend to have more success walking towards the big potato looking thing right here and then rolling my stick as I'm mashing. I'm going to start mashing while holding forward the whole time, and then once Jack is like stuck and he's kind of bouncing in the proxy, I'm going to move, and ideally I'll get a good launch. I didn't. That's because my mash speed was like varying. I don't know if you could tell, but I like went da 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 da. If you have that inconsistency in your mash speed, it's almost certainly going to fail. So you just want to burst as hard and as fast as you can, and hopefully Jack will like take off. So I didn't get a good one there. Well, now it's going to be really embarrassing if I'm doing the tutorial and it like just doesn't work. Okay, like that. If you spin high up in the air, I should despawn some of the tokens? No, okay. That's honestly fine for the purposes of this, because I can keep showing stuff. I got a proxy, it's just you're not always going to get a high enough one for it to work. That's just kind of how proxies are in this game, I feel like. Right? But generally speaking, that's kind of the lineup that I'm going for. And I don't get this all the time. I probably get it a little over 30% of the time, maybe. Some ideas that I've been messing with is pushing the camera in before I take off. Yes, with the splat, we're in invuln 2, which is important, and we'll get to that in a second. I feel like being zoomed in can help a lot, as you just saw. Sometimes I feel like the camera gets stuck when that happens, though. So use that to your own discretion. Think pushing the camera in makes it easier. But I don't have like empirical evidence other than the fact that it just happened to work right then. Another thing that you can do that Bobby Kaze told me about, if you notice as Jack is walking, he has no there's no particle effects on his feet, right? He's just walking on the lava. If you go to this rock right here and you like touch the corner of it, Jack now has dust particles on his feet when he runs. I don't know if you can tell, but he does. When I go over here to the rock, yo, Ames, thank you for the congrats, I appreciate it. So if you go over here to the rock and you start jumping, you'll notice you have what Bobby Kaze referred to as dusty feet or smoky feet. And he hypothesized that smoky feet would help the game lag a bit more and make the proxy a little bit easier. So I'm going to push the camera in, smoky feet, and boom, I take off. So that's pretty much my tips as far as the actual proxy itself is concerned. What happens after the proxy is critical. When you're in invuln 1, you cannot trigger cutscenes. You just walk right through them. When you land in the light zone with invuln 1, nothing will happen. It'll go to a black screen, and you're just stuck there. You can move Jack around, and you can do roll jumps, and if you accidentally bonk into something, you'll lose invuln 1, and then the cutscene will play. In order to maximize the amount of time that you save, what you want to do while you're high up in the air is you're going to want to spin at some point so that when Jack falls down and hits the light zone, he takes fall damage. When he takes fall damage, if he doesn't die outright, he moves from invuln 1 to invuln 2, which does allow you to play cutscenes, which is fine. I tend to spin really, really high up so that I know that I die, because sometimes I've accidentally spun too low and got invuln 2, and then in the next split, I keep invuln 2 through the whole thing and I don't realize it, and then when I go to get invulnerability with the gun to get invuln 1 again so I can go through the desert, I can't get invuln 1 because I'm still in invuln 2 and I don't realize it. So you can either bonk in arena if you just want to be on the safe side, or spin really, really high up so that you know Jack is going to die. So I would spin way high up in the air, and Jack would fall down, and I'll just aim him to land in the light zone. And that pretty much covers most of what I know about Roxy. The only other tips that I have, if Jack is going to shoot up really, really high in the air, like if you can tell he's going to like freaking go into the stratosphere, you can cut the height with a preemptive spin kick. So instead of waiting until he's falling to spin kick, you do the spin kick as he's going up, and it will cut the amount of height that you gain, right? One last thing that you can do is you can land in the light zone without spinning intentionally. So you just land in it with invuln 1. And in the black screen, as soon as Jack lands, you can do a punch, uppercut, spin kick through the winner's platform to where Damus is. Okay, see how I'm here now? So I'm going to very carefully jump here so you can see. Woo! Okay. When you're like right here, this platform where Damus is hollow underneath. You can actually punch, uppercut, and kick Damus. So, like, if you kick Damus, for example, you get the bonk animation just like that. Unfortunately, I just died like a goober. But when you're on this platform in the black screen, if you have Jack's position memorized, you can punch, uppercut into Damus from here, like that, and you'll lose invulnerability and the cutscene will still play. The only reason you would do that is when you splat onto the ground in the light zone, the cutscene doesn't play until your splat animation or your death animation is finished. So you actually gain about 2 seconds compared to normally landing in the light zone. But where Roxy is so fast, it's totally worth it, right? If you land in the light zone with Invuln 1 and you're in the black screen, you can punch uppercut into Damus and it will save about a second is what I've timed. It's kind of tricky. I don't personally feel like it's worth it unless you're just like dummy cracked out, but that is something you can do. And that pretty much does it for Roxy. Those are all my major tips, along with like we covered everything. Quickly how to get Invuln, Dusty Feet, zooming the camera in to try to aid in how much mashing you have to do in order to like shoot up into the air, the importance of spinning, blah blah blah. I feel like that pretty comprehensively covers almost everything, at least in terms of how I mechanically execute it. Thanks for watching.